The anticipation of dominant bucks preparing for the breeding season is something every deer hunter looks forward to. In most of the U.S., the peak of the rut will occur around the 15th of November. Several things can change this date by 10 to 12 days. The moon can play a major part, as well as the weather in determining the actual rut. Regardless, the does coming in heat is the best indication. Bucks rubbing their antlers on trees or bushes and making scrapes are signs that the bucks are ready, but sign is all a hunter will see until the does come into estrus. In the central U.S., the 2001 rut came around the 1st of November, and due to a good acorn crop, most of the deer stayed in the woods, offering poor rutting visibility. Those hunters expecting mid-November activity were left wondering where the big bucks were. The secret to deer hunting success for the hunter is to remain undetected to, from, and in his deer stand. This was the key for Knight and Hale's team whenever we hunted. At the season's end, with all things considered, we concluded that our secret to success were the facts that some new hunting products helped us to remain totally undetected.
Walter, of all the places that you've deer hunted in your life, have you got a special state that you'd like to go back to?
Kansas.
Kansas?
Hey, man, he answered that in a hurry.
Why Kansas?
They got monsters and there's a lot of them.
He's got a bone to pick with them out there because he got beat up pretty bad, and I don't think he's the only one that did.
No, you're looking at two right here who went to Kansas, and we had a pretty tough time with it. But as tough as it was, hey, I'm just like you. I want to go back to Kansas.
Hey, and we're a glutton for punishment. We went twice, didn't we?
Did you find any sign out there, Herb?
I'll tell you what, I found a bunch of wind blowing about 30 miles an hour in hot weather. Yes, I saw a lot of sign. Enough sign I want to go back.
Well, I've decided I'd just soon go out there and scout as hunt in most places because you see all the sign out there, it gives you the encouragement to stay in the stand longer.
Jones, I bet you hung 50 stands out there while you was hunting.
First day I did.
You know, talking about all this hot weather, Walter, you reckon that these does got bred? We didn't see the rut.
Yeah, they got bred. They're going to drop at the same time they always do.
About May or June, they're going to come out.
June, they're going to come
You know,
out.
I heard that everywhere I went this year. Boy, the rut just wasn't visible, and it was hot weather, and we just didn't see it. But you're right.
That's the key. Hot weather and them deer's activity and movement was at nighttime.
Was at nighttime. Right. Folks, welcome to the latest edition of Ultimate Whitetail Hunting. We've had to do some things a little bit different this year, guys, to make this video successful. We've got some real interesting hunts coming up. We've got some new product we want to talk about, and we got some new product that made things work for us we're going to talk about. And we named our video this time Undetected, Going Undetected,
Totally
or Totally Undetected. And I think that is an excellent name because when times are tough, you had better figure out everything to your flavor, if you want to call it that, and you better go undetected.
That's exactly right. What's the key to deer hunting? I mean, whether it starts getting out of your truck, going to your stand, leaving your stand, if you're undetected, your deer hunting is going to be 100% more successful.
You're going to see a lot more.
That's right.
Walter, was there anything special about this season that you noticed?
The weather. Tough.
Yeah.
Made it tough. Had to stay longer.
Just hotter weather. You didn't wear any heavy clothes
windy.
this year at all,
No.
or did you?
One time he did in December, but you know, he mentioned a while ago, he knew when these deer bred. He's an authority. Everybody I talked to said the rut didn't happen.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
It happened.
All right, before we give too much of it away, let's get into this edition of Ultimate Whitetail Hunting.
Look at here, it's a sign. David, come here. Man alive. I wish you'd look at here. Now, I told you these deer's coming this creek. Man,
Don't you be trying to take the credit for this. Now, I don't know what you found, but it was my suggestion we come down here and find where these deer are crossing.
Well, I can tell you one thing, they coming in right here. I don't know where they're going out, they're coming in right here.
Is this a cow path or a deer path?
Did you ever see anything like it? David, anytime you see these old canes,
They're gonna walk around it,
They
aren't
walk around it. They don't walk right through it. Now that is a good sign right there.
Well, you know what? Look here. This high bank, they're
Yeah.
going down where it's low right there and crossing up.
That's easy for them. That's exactly. That makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, it unfolds like a picture now. Now, here's the deal. Food plot right there, bedding area beyond that, they're going to this cornfield. This time of year, before the rut gets here, I mean, you got to find a travel zone, and this is what this is.
If you can put your stand up where you can catch these deer crossing this creek, you're going to be up high, see?
You know, talking about a stand, we're going to have a ladder stand. These trees ain't very conducive on this creek to anything but one.
Well, you know what I think of a ladder stand? I love
I ain't got
it.
to twist your arm. This is your favorite, isn't it?
That's right. See, you're going to be 8 foot higher, or 10, on this bank.
That's going to give you a 25-foot ladder stand.
That's going to be great.
Can you shoot that far down?
You better believe it. Let's go find it.
Harold, we got this in here. Camouflage pretty good up her here.
She's hid, ain't
She's
she?
brushed up.
You know what? These stands are real comfortable to sit in, too.
I just about soon hunt out of a ladder stand any stand I ever hunted in. If you got a tree like this one right here,
Well, then
you got to use a ladder stand.
You have. David, let me tell you what we got. See, we up 10 foot higher than we would be down here. We hoping the deer come through there. If they are, we're going to be up high.
We're sitting right in the middle of this cane thicket right here.
And I love that, too.
You know what? Sometimes you can find some of your best deer activity right close to a highway. We got a highway out here. You can hear all that noise. It's not,
Yeah.
we're right here close to civilization. We're not 200, 300
I'd
yards.
be reading some deer. in this
These deer
thicket here,
probably
too.
hadn't been pressured very
Yeah.
much. But you know, are we going to hunt this thing in the evening or in the morning?
I'm going to tell you something. We want to hunt this stand in a southwest wind. If we get up in the morning, if it's a southwest wind, we're going to hunt it. If it's not, we're not going to hunt it till it gets a southwest wind. I can tell you, because if we're going to mess
If the
up.
wind's not right, let's don't mess it up.
I agree with you.
All right, let's go.
Harold Knight is on a late September bow hunt where the bucks are still in their summer feeding patterns. This is a great time to pattern dominant bucks before they go totally nocturnal.
About 25 yards to that creek. "55 yards to them cedars." That's a pretty long shot. That's too long for Harold.
A good travel zone is important for early season hunting. Harold has found the ideal spot between two feeding areas along a creek crossing. If all goes as planned, the deer will cross the creek right under Harold's old man ladder stand.
There's a doe out here. There's a doe right out here.
Look at him. I told you that deer didn't go far. My God. Look what a goodness. Look at here. Look what a 8-pointer. Look at the long time. Is that ever? My gosh, look at the body on that deer. Look at where that arrow came out. Man alive. Look what a deer. Oh man. Look at that shot. I've never shot a deer in my life that fell that close without hitting him in the spine. Oh man. I'm gonna tell you something. We had our stand out here about 30 or 40 yards right up here. This creek. It was between the creek and the cornfield. We knew we had these deer pattern coming right off this bank. If you notice, they didn't go right straight across this bank. They come cut to the easiest path of resistance. That's what these deer were doing. We had them patterned perfect. They're going right that cornfield. Late in the afternoon. Man, oh man.
October is here, and that means the whitetail bucks are beginning to feel their urge to mate. David Hale has chosen a stand site along a creek that borders a field. It is bow season, and after a lot of practice with his Matthews bow, David is ready. There is a lot of buck activity close by, and a good trail right under the stand. This could be a deadly ambush combination if David can remain undetected by keeping his scent to a minimum. For this job, he is experimenting with a special dust application as a cover-up. Let's see what happens. David spots a doe. They're usually the first to show up at food sources. But a hunter must always be ready because you never know what could be following her. This doe comes directly under our stand and looks up as if she knew David was there. He has to remain still and let his mossy oak camouflage and special dust do their job. "30 minutes later, more deer enter the field. David begins to feel he has chosen the wrong tree, but with the buck sign he's found in the area, he remains confident. few minutes later, a spike is spotted milling around the creek bed, but he is definitely not the one making the rubs in this area.
I hear a deer up there walking around. I see a buck pushing a tree. I can't tell how big he is. It's a good buck. Boy, that was a big, big deer. Big-bodied deer. I got blood. He went right through here. Looks like he went in that cane thicket, and that's just about where I thought I heard him fall. He's stomping right here. He went down this creek going that way. Man, I can't believe we didn't find him in that cane thicket right there. That's where I thought I heard him fall. But he's come out, and if I heard him fall, he got up. Right there, he stumbled. That could have been what I heard. He's wanting to hook the edge of this creek. Man, if I'd known some of this stuff, I'd have got down quicker. There's a drop right here. Looks like he's crossing out this old dry creek bed, going right up this bank. There's another big old thicket up here. I bet he's headed right through it. There's blood right here. Here's more. He's coming right through here. He's headed this other cane thicket, looks like. There's blood right here. Yonder he is. I see him laying on it. He's down. Hot dog, he's down. Yeah. Woo! Look what I said in the corner. Good gracious alive. Man, what a deer. Oh, man, look what a deer. I wish you would look at this big 7-pointer. My lands. Holy mackerel, Andy, I've never seen such a 7-pointer. If there ever was one that's gonna pope and young, this one is. Look at the mass on him. He's got beam length, just short a few points, but man, this guy's got character. Never done this before with this kind of a whitetail. This is great. I can't believe this joker came down the hill, and it looked like he had another little buck in front of him. And this time of year, right in the pre-rut, they'll still tolerate one another. But he stopped to rub a tree, and I saw the top of it shaking from my stand. That got my attention, and I could see horns up in it, so I blew my call just a little bit, a couple times. And next thing I know, this joker left that other buck and ran down the hill and came to us just like a dog on a leash.
Knight and Hale pro staffer Dick Tillman is a die-hard bow hunter who relies on a year-round scouting program to keep him on top of whitetail activity. It's early in the season, and Dick has found a super hunting spot.
Look over here. Now, here's a real good indication. There's a big deer in the area. This is a lot more than a velvet rub here. This tree, he's got it rubbed. He's beginning to lay out his territory. It's still awful early in the season. You find big rubs like that early, it's usually a big deer somewhere in this area. Now, where we're hunting here, if you notice, we're coming in this way. We get the wind in our face. Yesterday, we came in from the opposite direction. The wind was blowing the other way. A good tip for any time of the year, and especially early season when deer are living close to the food source. You got to know how to get to your stand without walking through the deer or without the wind blowing your scent to them. So you got to have some travel patterns, know how you're going to get in and out of that stand. Don't spook them going in, don't spook them coming out. But if you can look up here, our stand is down in this little saddle here, coming through these two ridges. Got a lot of shade. We're up in a big maple tree, got a lot of leaves on it. Got some white oak acorns, begin to drop some things. We got some clover down through here. Got security, got cover, got a great travel pattern around the food source. Seen some deer here, and we think there ought to be a big one in the area based on all this sign. We need to get down here and get set up.
It's the second consecutive evening Dick has hunted this spot. This stand site is what we consider an afternoon-only location. Getting into this spot in the morning would alert too many deer and properly ruin this spot.
We sat here yesterday evening and had several does and some small bucks come out of this real thick bottom up through here. But up behind us there's several, I don't know what they are, some kind of bush, got huge leaves on them. And they're eaten and ripped up as high as you can reach. And there's 2 or 3 good trees down there that the big deer have been hooking, so there's got to be a big deer traveling through here. Hopefully he'll come through before dark.
Our hunter is set up on the downwind side of a saddle on this long ridge. He's taken advantage of the early season foliage to help hide himself among the leaves and limbs. Yet a little trimming gives him open shots to all the nearby trails.
Comes the doe.
The first deer to show is an old doe that seems to be a little on edge. Usually the old does that have others with them, like this one, are the most cautious. They finally calm down and move on past our hunter. Moments later, Dick hears a deer's footsteps in the dry leaves.
I can hear a deer walking. Oh, that's a good buck. That's a good deer. He's going to walk right under us, I think.
But talk about close. This big buck comes directly under our stand. He's cautiously looking over the field, but he has no clue that Dick is in the world. The buck quickly passes under the stand and catches the scent of where the does walked. He pauses just long enough for Dick to make his move.
I think he's hit good. That happened too quick. I get my breath now, my heart's pounding. That happened quick. You know, the deer had a lot of points on him, but it happened so quick I'm not sure how many. But I heard him kicking around over there just half a minute after I shot, so I think we got a good shot on him. I think he's laying right down in that bottom here just a little way, so we'll have to go find him. Pretty good blood on the ear. I don't think he went far. A lot of good blood right here. Good blood. There he is. Laying right there 20 yards in the woods. What a deer. Look at that deer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Look at that. What a pretty animal.
Dick, I got our ultimate hunting tip of the week. If you find elephant ears, the big bucks are in that area. You know what? Now, you've whitetail hunted as much as anybody I know. You've never hunted elephant ears.
Never in my life. First time.
So you say I finally got to teach you something?
It's a great tip. I mean, you can hide under them, you can hunt them. That's amazing. These deer were eating those, tearing those trees apart.
A quick tip. What is important in early season hunting, being able to get on a good deer like that? Obviously, finding the sign you found along the edge of this field, the elephant ears, you know.
Yeah. The big lead, which is important. You know, to kill a big deer, there's got to be a big deer in the area. So one of the first things you look for is a sign. Early season, you got to hunt the food sources. These deer are out of velvet for 3 or 4 weeks now. They're starting to break up. They're still living close to the food source.
Exactly.
You got to have a travel pattern, travel route somehow with the food source. They don't want to go very far right now. They don't have to. You got to do a lot of scouting. You got to know how you're going to get in and out of your stand.
That's very important. You know, you changed strategies on us from yesterday.
We had to. The wind switched a little bit. We were coming in from the other end, walking probably 3/4 of a mile this way. Wind switched today. We came all the way around this and walked in about a half a mile this way. So we didn't walk through the deer. We didn't let our scent blow into the deer.
Well, a place like this is where a topo map comes in. You can find depressions of long ridges. Deer, they're like us. They're lazy and they're going to use stuff like that, especially when you got food source. And what I've noticed this year, the white oak acorns we got are around the edges of stuff in these openings. They're really bearing well, and they seem to be falling a little bit
They're falling
earlier.
good, and they're good size. They're going right on the edges, like you say. And you look at a topo, like you said, you'll see this narrow ridge, you'll see that saddle. Deer love to walk through the saddle, like you said. They're lazy like we are. They're not going to climb any higher than they have to cut through. He's got food on both sides. He's got cover, so he's got everything a deer like this needs.
Bob, what we're going to do today is we've been seeing these deer come down this clover and wheat field, and they're coming off the ridge down the strip of woods. And they're coming out on, the bucks are coming on out late in the evenings. I think they're just taking their time, staging in that strip of woods, eating acorns until later on in the night or late afternoon, coming out in the field, green field, and eating. And we'll set you up in that strip of woods.
You seen some rubs down through there, Brian? Some scrapes?
Yes, I've been seeing a lot of good buck signs, scrapes and rubs, both. Yeah.
You got a south wind today, so we got a good cedar tree to set up in, I hope.
Yeah, we got you set up. That old man stand up there in that cedar tree, and the wind's gonna be just perfect for us.
Good deal.
This day.
Let's go down there and see if we can find a good spot.
All right.
Bob Robb is at Smoky Ridge Outfitters with manager Brian Gilliland. This home farm is an archery-only operation that consists of 3,000 well-managed acres of hardwoods and fields. Every bow hunter is treated like family, with warm southern hospitality, and also an excellent whitetail hunting spot.
Where do you want me to set up, Brian?
All right, Bob. Let's walk across the field here, and those cedars on the tree line. You'll see some flagging. That flagging will take you on up the tree line, and there's another clover field on the other side of that. Got you set up over in there.
Good deal. I'll meet you back here at dark, man.
All right, good luck.
Thanks very much.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Bob settles into his stand and hooks up his safety harness and prepares for the evening. His stand is on a finger that sticks out into this food plot. Brian has pre-scouted the area and placed the hunter in an ideal ambush location. It's the time of the season when bucks are visiting food sources and beginning to leave sign for the upcoming rut. It's a good evening. The deer are feeling frisky as the late evening brings a slight cool down in temperatures.
Okay, here comes a nice buck. A real wide one.
After seeing several does, a good buck appears, heading straight to Bob's ambush site. This buck is a good example of what management and a one-buck limit can produce here in the Bluegrass State. The buck is cautious, but most of his attention is on the does that are feeding close to Bob's stand site. Bob quickly moves into position as soon as the big buck goes behind this cedar. He is turning perfectly back into an open shooting lane for our hunter.
I think I hit him pretty good. Really wide 8-pointer. Came in feeding the field. It's getting kind of dark, but I think we made a good
Man, look at this buck here. Well, there's a nice big 8-pointer. It's the 3rd week of October, and these deer are just starting the pre-rut. It's a great time to hunt bucks. We set up in a finger of trees in between 2 food plots. It's a great time to hunt these deer. We look for scrapes and rubs, and they're just starting, and that's a sign that the bigger deer are here when you see that this time of year, and they've got to get out in those fields and feed up and get strong before that rut starts. So they're going to come out and starting to eat a little bit. You still got time to catch them out in daylight before they go nocturnal, just prior to the rut. We saw these fellows make some scrapes and do a little rubbing, kind of put their nose down and sort of look like they wanted to chase a doe or two, and we're really fortunate. I shot this guy with just a few minutes of legal shooting light left, which I was really thankful for those fiber optic sight pins. Another thing I think is really important when you're hunting deer like this time of year, it's a little warm out, you need to have some fletching on your arrows that you can see when you shoot. And I have 1 red and 2 white fletches. I can see those things spin real good in the air, and I could tell I made a good hit on this deer even though it was getting a little bit dark. So the tracking job wasn't too bad. Now the packing out job's going to be a son of a gun. We've got to drag him out of this canyon.
Harold, if I was to talk about one critical issue that would help anybody in whitetail hunting is we got to beat that deer's nose.
You beat his nose, you're going to beat him most of the time.
You're exactly right, and I want to ask you right now, what is your all-time favorite attractant?
It'd be code blue and it'd be doe and estrus.
Why?
It's 1 deer in a bottle.
All right, now what happens if you run out of that?
All right, that's what I like about it, David. If I run out of this, I am guaranteed, it's certified to go get another bottle exactly like this. So if I've had success with that last bottle of estrus, I'm guaranteed to go get another one just like it.
Out of the same deer?
Out of the same deer.
That is pretty neat, and I'll have to agree with you 100%. And you know, another thing I want to talk about, so we've been keeping a pretty good secret this year talking about a dust in these hunts. And we've come up with a product here that was developed by 2 old boys over in Arkansas, and they named it Camel Dust originally, and of course we've got the product in our line now. They designed that product for eliminating chicken litter.
Now you said eliminated it, now not covering it, eliminated.
They eliminated it, absorbed that odor right up. And so, you know, one of the things that made all the sense in the world, you could apply that to a human scent, and buddy, you can go undetected in the deer woods, and this is exactly what we've done. And so what we've named this dust, we've called it stealth dust. And what it is, I've already pre-put this out, but the solution comes in a can right here. You put it in a bag.
Like
you know
a
what?
bag.
I feel like I'm playing baseball again.
Yep.
You apply that to your clothing.
To your beard.
To your beard.
To your hair.
To your hair. You cannot do enough to eliminate odor. You just cannot do enough. I mean, we talk about that all the time. This is a great aid to go along with the fact that you're going to put on clothing suppressants.
That's right.
And you're going to add this to it. You're going to add this to your beard. It is a pretty neat deal. And also, it even serves as a wind checker when you're up in the woods.
I'll tell you something else it does too. For those who don't like to put something wet on their hair or face, you know, this is good.
You're exactly right. And Harold, I don't know if I'm out of school in saying this or not, but I know one of the top magazines in the country had a bunch of people field testing this product last year. They got a 98% approval rating off of it, and I said, bingo, I knew we weren't the only one having success with this.
I'll tell you what, I give them a top rating too.
You know, we went elk hunting. Yeah. We was walking in the woods, elk hunting for several days. We never once got busted by those cow elk. And on the whitetail hunting, I can't tell you how many whitetail I've known in the past would have busted me against the wind now coming right on me that we went undetected this time. And I'm saying it's got all in the world to do with this dust right here.
I guarantee you, you put your whole suppressant suit on and add that to it.
That's a winning combination.
That's a winning combination.
Folks, remember the stealth dust. The dust. It don't get no better than this right here.
Glenn Linton of Old Man is getting set for an archery hunt on this eve before the opening of the first primitive weapon season. It's October, and if you catch some good weather, the big bucks will move.
I gotta put my hearing aid in.
Glenn is a firm believer in Walker's game ear. Like many hunters, his hearing is not perfect. The game ear tremendously enhances his ability to pick up all sounds. So you won't catch Glenn hunting without it in his ear.
it now. We kick it now.
Well, Glenn saw a shooter, but he didn't come close enough for a bow shot. The old buck is doing just what they do best, following scent trails of the girls and staying just out of bow range. The next afternoon, the wind made a complete change. So did our hunter. He took advantage of the portability of a climbing stand. Plus, this new location, overlooking another food source, would be where our hunter's scent would flow out over the lake, away from the incoming whitetails. It's a good day still. The temperatures are nice and cool, and getting cooler as the evening goes by.
Hey, good deer coming off the hill.
This buck gets right out into the field and lets it be known that he owns the place. He's hoping that one of the girls has the right smell. Bucks are always ready for the breeding season. It's a matter of daylight hours and whatever else in nature that brings on the estrus cycle of the doe. Glenn is enjoying the show and waiting for the perfect chance to pull the trigger on his night disc rifle.
Good night. He's down. It's a good buck. Big 10 point. About 130 class deer. Several 8 points. Him, bunch of does. These does come out of here. But he's down. He come off the hill up there. I think he rode in the field this evening. Or he was. That's sausage right there, big guy. He's down. Shimmy down this tree and go out there and put my hands on him.
That's a good deer here, Chuck.
Boy, ain't that pretty.
Boy, he is.
You know what, I like a guy, when I say shoot him, he shoots him.
Well, that's
And we don't have to chase him down or track him down. Or that's that Mississippi come
That's
out,
right.
wasn't it?
Yes, we still got daylight, man. We can go get us a cold drink, build us a sandwich right here.
The rut is kicking in big time.
It's coming. It's here in Kentucky.
Well, you know, the first afternoon, we hunted those food plots, and you had your bow, and we saw 2 good deer.
Yeah, real
we
good
got
deer.
a lot of good deer in this country. We got a 1 buck limit, and that makes a difference.
You and I were talking about that yesterday, and I wish a lot of states would incorporate that with the regulations, and it improved the deer herd tremendously.
Well, so many hunters are selfish. They want to kill a lot of deer. You can kill does, though.
Oh,
they
yeah.
eat pretty good, don't we?
Oh yeah,
Don't
you got that right.
We ate one last night, and she tasted just right.
It is an early autumn morning. David has put his stand high up in a colorful maple tree along a small, secluded field in the middle of a large tract of timber.
Here comes a deer out the corner of the field up yonder. What I really like about this place right here, there's 3 fields. Each one of them got about 1 acre in them, and there's a little corridor about 30 yards wide that divides each one of them. These deer can travel up and down and back and forth, run in and out across these fields, chase does. There's some clover out here, some food plots. The nearest food place, real source of food, is about, probably a half a mile from here, 3/4 mile. So these deer are going to move from that source back in here late in the morning. If there's any rutting going on, they can run in and out these travel lanes and see and be seen. You got cedar thickets over here, which is a good bedding area back in this country. There's some cedar thickets on that side. We got hardwoods around a few acres. This is just a great place to be. And I came in here a couple of days ago and put these old man terrace stands up. I haven't been back. And since I was here, there's a rub line on the other side of the field right here. So I know there's some buck activity here. The rut is right on top of us. It's fixing to happen. I really believe something's going to happen right here today.
Using his new stealth dust as a wind checker, David keeps a constant check on wind currents. Two small wannabe bucks enter the field and go through the motions as they practice learning the ways of a dominant buck.
There's a buck coming out right over the edge of the woods.
A good buck enters the field, following a doe and grunting. He soon loses interest in her as he sees the smaller bucks sparring. Showing his dominance, he leaves the doe and approaches the little ones. Realizing no harm here, he walked in a circle, sniffing the ground. David uses the Night and Hale Magnum Grunter to get his attention. The old boy caught David drawing his Q2, but he waited too long to retreat. His thought being strictly on a receptive doe cost him an extra second of caution.
Boy, I saw where he fell. He's down.
Penetrated clean through him. Man, changed the color of my fletchings. I see him laying right there. Man, look at here. A pretty little 10-pointer. And that's something. Already got both his ends broken off. Boy, you know what? There's nothing like hunting with a bow. And I like it any time of the year, but when you got the rut going on, just like this joker here, I heard him coming down through the woods grunting. He was chasing a doe. She ran out and wiggled that tail a little bit. I knew good well there was going to be probably a good buck behind her. Sure enough, it was. Seemed like when he got out here in the field, though, he kind of lost sight of her a little bit, and he came over and checked out another deer standing over here in the creek. And when he walked past me, I grunted to him a little bit, and he came right back looking. That is one super deer. Gee whiz.
Harold Knight decides to join Rocky Top Outfitters for a November rut hunt in the plains of Texas.
And right yonder's where we want to be this evening.
Yeah.
About 300 yards right up yonder. And I tell you what, we've got us a good sandwich, a little rest. We're out here early. This is just right. You know, I've always heard an old saying is, you can't kill him sitting in the lodge. You're going to have to get out there and get with it.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, we getting out here getting with it. We plenty early. But I'd rather be early than be a little late.
Yeah, me too.
So what we going to do? What do you recommend us doing? Going up the field or going around the thicket here? Which one do you think?
I kind of like to get in the cover and ease up in there.
All right.
Get set up.
That's what us do then. I just take her time and ease up there.
All right, let's do it.
Harold, along with his guide Travis Shippey, hunted a box blind earlier in the morning and had seen a good buck. So on this afternoon, they decided to move up the field line about 500 yards to a place where they had seen the buck exit the field earlier in the morning. Their plan was to sit on the ground and rattle, hoping to call a buck out of the thick cover.
I'm gonna get over here and see. This is a good place to get over right here for me. I'm looking. You don't need to be over there. You need
No.
to get right over yonder.
Okay.
Listen, you got your rattle bag with you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's all right.
You talk about quick action. It didn't take long to rattle this little fellow out of the brush to see what the commotion was all about. Now, lucky for him, he still lacks several inches on top of his head to be the caliber of deer that Harold is looking for. Movement from Tony's camera was about all this Spike's nerves could handle. He decides he'd better head for the hills.
See them gobblers. I know where we're gonna be next spring.
Travis is using a Night and Hale rattle bag, hoping to rattle up the big 8-pointer that he and Harold had previously seen. The buck catches Harold's eye as he appears like a ghost. After a 40-second stare down, he finally makes his move toward the field. If you listen close, there is a doe off to the right of the camera's view that has spotted Harold and is raising just enough cane to keep the buck from crossing the fence. The big bruiser decides to retreat, but makes the fatal mistake of looking back one more time for those fighting bucks that were not there.
Hey, you get to see all that show?
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
You know, I thought that deer was going to jump that fence.
and it stood there. I couldn't see it real good. I didn't know what Tony was seeing, but I knew he wanted the deer to jump the fence because he had super footage there. But I think we got some good stuff there. You know, the party was over. He was leaving. This little old doe out here had done absolutely, hold this for me, he'd done absolutely told the world that we was here. And I tell you what, that blame buck was fixing to leave here, and I sure was glad Tony said, take him, because I'm tell you what, 2 more steps he'd been gone.
Yeah, that's a good buck.
Look at the deer we saw this morning. Goodness.
That's a good one.
Look at the eye guards on that deer. I can tell you what, that is absolutely a great Texas deer. Man alive. We saw that deer this morning.
Yeah, that's
That's
him.
the same deer.
That's him.
You know what? This morning we wasn't really prepared to hunt. We didn't know exactly where to hunt.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any excuse this afternoon. We got up and down this fence and looked, see where this crossing, and this field's about 200 acres. You know, that's a big field.
Yeah.
I don't care if you got a gun, that's a big field. So we got down here and got in the middle of this field where these deer were coming out in it and rattle. And I'm gonna tell you something, Travis. That right there was fun. I'm gonna tell you
That was
something.
fun.
There was a little bitty buck run up there, and I don't think Tony got that on film, but it's a little old button buck, and there's a little old doe, and that buck run up there with him. And man, I could hear him. You could hear him running out there. And they come right up there. Oh, that's exciting. I can tell you, that rattling is
That's a good
exciting.
one.
That's a great deer. Oh man.
Oh, I can't get that buck I saw this morning out of my mind.
It was a nice one, wasn't it?
How many acres is in this ranch right here?
This particular one's about 30,000 acres.
We've walked over every stinking acre of it.
It feels like it, don't it?
Where are we headed to now?
There's a wheat field up here. Actually, there's quite a few up here, but there's one up here. There's a hedgerow that runs down it. I might be able to sneak down that hedgerow, and there's a little island out there that's got some trees in it. A lot of times when deer come out there, they like it around that island for some reason.
These deer like his wheat, I suppose, 'cause I don't see much here for them to eat.
No, yeah, it's getting this time of year where they're going to hit that wheat pretty hard.
All right, let's go look at it.
David Hale chooses to hunt Texas with Colorado buck of Rocky Top Outfitters. It's the last of November, and the rut is still on. Buck has been 100% successful so far, and David does not want to let him down.
This is wheat field you're talking about?
Yeah, this is it. Actually, this is that row of trees I was telling you about. About halfway down, not quite to the middle, there's some islands with some trees in it. For some reason, the deer like it. They like to get out there and lay around it. What we need to do is ease out that row of trees. A couple hundred yards when we look out in there. There's some risers we look over.
I see something. Is that a doe?
Yeah. She's bedded.
There's a buck. Whereabouts?
Right to the left of her.
I see him. I see his horns barely above that
There's
rise.
2 bucks out there.
I see him.
There's 2 bucks. That one's pretty good.
How are we going to get to him? Heck, that's 500 yards.
I know it.
We want to go right down through here.
We'll go down the fence line. It's the only way we can go.
Is that the shooter?
That's the shooter.
Stay still. Don't move.
Still.
Don't move.
I'm behind trees looking.
Now he's walking.
What do you think, Buck? We gotta get closer.
He's bedded down. He's laying looking right at that doe. If we can get down to that, we're gonna stay on this side of the fence. I'll have to. If I hear us crossing. All right, we got a little hump right here. As long as we're down, as long as we stay down, we can get closer. Let's stay real low. Try to get a little closer. Real low. Wire's in my way. He's standing up. Can you see him there? He's standing up. Yeah, I can see him. He's coming this way. I'm gonna let him come on.
Shoot there, you ready?
I can't get a shot. He's behind that tree.
I can't see him. He's at a bad angle. He's straight away.
Wait, there's another buck coming to him. He's fixing to turn right side. Okay. I can't shoot from here. I've got to get a little higher.
What's he doing? Walking away. He's running after that other buck.
He'll be back up that door. Why he's broadside.
He's looking at us.
This ain't no better. Low, you shot low. Right there. Good shot. Holy smoke. Get ready to shoot again, just in case. Just in case, get ready to shoot again. That was a good one, buddy. That was a good one. Oh, man. Son, that was a good one.
What do you think?
I think that was a good one.
I think we ain't gonna have no trouble finding him. How about that, Bucky?
Son, that it don't get no better.
That was 179 yards. Look here. That's a nice, heavy Texas whitetail.
That is a heavy Texas whitetail.
9-pointer, 10 in the doe. The rut's on. What about it, son?
It's just way supposed to be. That was a good long Texas shot.
You know what? He sat out here and sat out here and sat out here and watched and watched and watched.
Walk back and forth.
That's exciting. I don't care if it is with a rifle. I killed a many with a bow, but this is exciting to be able to stalk that out like that. You know, we have stalked since early this morning.
Yes, we have.
Been on bucks, had cows to stampede through deer. We've had everything in the world to go wrong except this.
This didn't go wrong, did it?
This one didn't go wrong. That buck's going to score 140
in the Nightingale record book.
In the Nightingale record book. He might score 180 as long a shot as it was. That was good.
Walter, the whole theme of this video is going totally undetected. Things gonna change for you this year.
Really?
Not for the deer, because you got all these good products, but we now have brand new Motorola radios that we can always find. You can't slip off and get in your stand by yourself.
What if I don't turn it on?
We can vibrate you. We can find you, bud. This is a super product. This is the, folks, the Talk About Motorola, the T7200. It's got a at least 5 mile range. Compact little unit.
Comes in its own carrying case. You just clip it out right here. This clips on your belt.
That's right. Or you can put it on your pack, in your pack, wherever you want to. Hang it on a tree beside you on a limb. That'll hang on a limb. But so many times we have used these radios. We take riders, clients, Harold and David, me and you.
4 or 5 people out, you can keep track of everybody.
Well, that's right. And you can set times to use them during the day. Call somebody at 9 o'clock if they don't want to come off the stand. We're talking about being undetected. When you start walking in and out of that stand,
exactly,
every trip, you're more detected
and
by the
it's
animal.
a good safety item, too. If you've got
No
somebody
doubt.
with some health problems or something, and even use them in the mall. People, man and wife, keeping track of their kids and everybody. They're a great,
So you're saying
feature.
you used them Christmas shopping this
Oh,
year?
yeah.
In the mall?
No, I sat on the bench.
Well,
I was the guy sitting
I
on the
have
guy
noticed,
sitting on the
I thought
bench.
people were using cell phones, and I got to look, and they're using these little talkabouts, and it's a super item. Folks, the Motorola talkabouts, this is a T7200, 5 mile range. Another great product, Walter, that has helped us go undetected. Obviously, our new dust, absolutely awesome. But when you team that with products like Gore-Tex scent suppressant clothing, you've got the Browning jacket on there that's a little bit lighter, the pants go with it. That team is absolutely awesome.
You know, and there's a lot of manufacturers that put suppressant in their clothes, Redhead, and obviously Browning, and a lot of manufacturers. And what it is actually is it's a wind stopper that has charcoal incorporated in it that you cannot wash out. And wind stopper is a great item when that cold wind starts blowing around that tree, or no matter where you're at. It's just great. Keeps you warm.
So you're saying some of the other products you can wash your stuff out?
Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not, but...
Well, I'll tell you what sold me at the SHOT Show. They had these little squares of the product, the Gore-Tex product.
They did.
The guys at Gore, they had an ammonia capsule in it, and they broke that thing, and I was so in doubt that I made them cut the thing open to see the ammonia in there. Then we tested it with other
You
products.
smelled the ammonia in there then.
Well, you know, we're fortunate to have great sponsors, great products, and I don't care what people think. Sometimes it seems a little commercial, but these products help us tremendously in the deer woods. Well, like that dust, you know, a great tip with it. Early season, late season, you walk to your stand. I'm a firm believer in carrying your clothes on a good pack, especially your outer layer stuff like the scent suppressant stuff. Early in the season, many times I'd wear a t-shirt. I'd take my t-shirt off and I'd take that stealth dust and put it all over my body. I'd take a scent control bag, have a new t-shirt in it, put a fresh t-shirt on, dust it, my head, my hair, then apply the scent suppressant clothing.
Staying as clean as you possibly can. That's the key to it.
Totally undetected. That's what we're looking for.
On this cool, foggy November day, Chuck Jones travels back into an area here in central Indiana where he has found an abundance of deer sign around a food plot. The rut is getting started, which means when you find a concentration of does, the bucks will be visiting this area. Chuck is sitting right along this field edge. A 2-year-old cutover is less than 200 yards from his stand, so it's a good bet the deer are not traveling far to reach this food source. This thick fog has helped Chuck to get set up without being detected.
I love a setup like this. I got this tree in front of me. Makes you feel good when a deer's coming in. You got some cover to hide behind. You hang your bow up there. We're in Indiana. And the fog is so thick you can cut it with a knife, but it's cool. I mean, I got a wool sweater underneath this Gore-Tex jacket. It's got scent suppressant in it. Super bow-hunt jacket, it breaks the wind. Sounds like the squirrels are rutting. Bucks are definitely rutting up there. We're on a big deer trail right here. There's a tree right there and a tree right here. That big around been rubbed. I saw another rub down through the woods earlier. There's a bunch of clover and looks like some alfalfa in this field behind us. find a deer sign. I never realized Indiana had so many deer in it. It is unbelievable. Gonna see what this weather brings. It's a good day. The wind's coming just like this, going right out toward that field there. It's a squirrel. I saw movement. It's so thick. I tell you what, a good pair of glasses for a guy bow hunting. There's nothing like it. You can see some movement down through the woods. You can pick your glasses up, see what a deer's doing. You can see how alert they are, whether they're looking your way. You know when to move. Try to move to get your bow. These are 10 by 50s. They're a little much for real thick stuff like that, but I like them. I like to be able to look through the stuff. My guy makes a pair of 8 by 42s, and they're Monarch series. Absolutely phenomenal glasses for the woods. This strap made by Cricket Horn Outfitters, his Bino Buddy strap, is also great. You put your rangefinder on if you want to. I keep my little Nikon rangefinder in my pocket. My suppressant jacket. All we need now is a big old Indiana buck to come tooling through here.
Less than an hour later, a doe appears, with a small one tagging along. Then Chuck spots another doe down the field edge.
She came out of that little thicket that points out. There's a deer right there. Stop behind a tree right there. It's a good buck. It's a good buck. He's coming right up that edge up there. Right there. He's fixing to go behind those big trees. He's going behind those big trees.
This big 10-point is heading toward this field like he is on a mission to intercept a receptive brown-eyed doe. Immediately, the buck spots the young doe down in the corner of this field. When he does, he turns, heading toward her, and also right by our hunter.
Wind's blowing dead to him. That deer never knew we were in the world. And he turned. There was a doe down here at the end of the field. I think he spotted her, and he turned and was walking down the edge of the field. This fog is so thick, it is unreal. That's the old foggy day buck, Indiana.
I might sit down here and calm down. I done turned around my safety belt so much I'm tied up. Like a Boy Scout on his first square knot ordeal.
I guess I could have crossed that creek. It's been tough getting through there.
we shot him up here. And I had to go around down here and catch a little beaver pond to get across, but I found my arrow. It went half the arrow. That's a 31-inch arrow went in him. Not perfect. You don't want to hit a deer in the shoulder, but luckily a broadhead, like that titanium, it busted on through. I see the boy laying up here. Kind of had him marked where he fell. Walker, that's a rose bush there. Try to stay out of it. All right. Keep your hands up in. Look how pretty this deer is. He is red. Big old neck on him. Look at the face on that animal. He is beautiful.
With the body size of this buck, Chuck elects to recruit the help of our host, Russ Beller, to get him loaded in the mule.
Russ, you a Chevy man and a Kawasaki mule man, ain't you?
That's the only two things there are out there.
I tell you what, that thing saves your roads too, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. It's just amazing how you can take care of your roads with those. If you try to go with a Jeep or a pickup, that you're just beating your roads up. You got a nice buck there.
How old's that deer?
2.5.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just 2.5-year-old deer.
You was one of them older ones shot, wasn't you?
Well, you know, you shot about a 150 there. I'd have liked to see you got a 170.
Sit down there and put your hands on his horn.
Little will be disappointed in you here.
Little John introduced to us, and I tell you what, he's been a good friend to us, Harold, David, and you, and I can't thank him enough for introducing us, because I have thoroughly enjoyed this hunt now.
The Night and Hale cameras have joined Ken Roebuck on this opening week of the Kentucky rifle season. Ken is hunting a private farm that has employed a very extensive management program for whitetails. Ken has chosen a stand site that overlooks a 3-year-old cutover that is bordered by hardwoods. During the rut, which comes full swing in the Kentucky rifle season, it's a good idea for a hunter to hunt where he has good visibility of a large area. Deer like this young buck will use open areas like this as a food source and to search for does. Up in the day on cold days like this, deer will hit these cutovers to get in the warm sunshine.
There's a doe right out there.
Turkeys, like white-tailed deer, also like to hang around the fringe of where cutovers or fields border timber. Good timber management offers superb habitat for all game species. It doesn't take long for this flock of young turkeys to pick off our hunter. Turkeys, unlike whitetails, are not colorblind, so they easily spot the fluorescent orange. Later in the morning, Ken creates a mock fight with horns and the Magnum grunter.
Here comes a buck on the left of the field.
And what appears nearly blows Ken's mind. Thanks to good management and a 1-buck limit, Kentucky hunters record many Boone and Crockett bucks like this one each season.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime buck. Would you look at the G2s on this? This buck may score 170. We saw this buck this morning chasing a doe, and she wasn't quite ready and rattled him up, and he came back to check us out. He was just curious. I didn't think he was going to stop when he crossed the field, but whistled once, and he stopped and posed for us for a minute, and this is what we got. This is really a once-in-a-lifetime buck, and I'm excited about it.
They just plopped down in the grass. Can you see the buck yet, Perry?
Yeah, I don't know, Walter. I don't think he's what we're looking for.
I don't believe he is.
It's the first day of Walter Parrott's Kansas rifle hunt.
9:30?
He and Perry Ross are glassing, hoping to find a good buck. Speaking of good bucks, before we continue Walter's hunt, let's look at a few bucks Perry filmed on his property this season. Bucks of this caliber are very common in this part of Kansas. Perry controls thousands of acres of prime habitat, and he offers a super whitetail hunt with a high success rate. These multi-pointed typical bucks are why you see many record buck entries from the state of Kansas.
No doubt. This is the kind of deer we want to take. Big bodied. These deer weighing anywhere from 2 1/4 up to probably 275. But they got everything you need to eat. Corn, wheat, alfalfa, and got some good property that's virgin land.
Good property. Incredible property.
Coming right to you, Doug.
After a couple of days still hunting, Perry makes a decision to make some drives. It's late in the season, and the hunting pressure is starting to affect deer movement.
We got a drainage running through here about 3/4 of a mile, and Perry's up the other end. He's going to walk right through here real easy. We spotted some deer up here. See if we can get him to come down the edge of the drain here, maybe get a shot at him. Been seeing a big buck in here, so we're hoping he's still here.
The first drive brings several mule deer out of the thick cover. Both whitetails and mule deer live in the area of Kansas. This young muley buck is impressive, but Walter has a whitetail-only tag.
Well, there's a mule deer buck. It's the wrong flavor. He's a little guy.
They are big, yeah, they are big. And I'm just excited about it. I mean, this is a place that's it's like magic. I mean, you know, I've been out here all season. It's the first time I've been able to be out here all season with these deer and watch the rut. And, you know, it was just amazing. We seen some 180 to 200 inch deer here. And that's not telling, just making it up. I mean, I've got some video of some deer that size.
It's time to move to the next spot along the Arkansas River for another drive in a big CRP grass field. Landowner Steve Riegel offers some expertise on deer travel routes, and Walter gets into position.
Got a big CRP field here. I'll make a little push. It's the middle of the day. Wind's blowing. Daryl and Perry and Whit's come around the backside over here. We've got the wind blowing this direction. I want to get behind these leaves right here. Let me get hid in the shade. These both ways. It's a good spot right here.
All right, guys, we're going to hit this CRP, just scatter out, take our time. Walter's over on that tree line just the other side of the windmill. Let's see if we can't get a good deer up for her. Y'all ready?
We're ready.
Let's go get her.
Those deer are bedded up tight in this grass right here. It's high. They're hard to see, and hopefully we'll be able to see them run out of here. What they usually do is they're going to fly coming out of the grass, and then when we get to this river bottom right here, hopefully they're going to stop and give me a shot.
You know, making a drive like this, it's real important to keep these guys together, stay in line, zigzag back and forth, and spend some time in it, you know, not push real fast. And use the wind and let that wind just take your scent through it. And you see real big spots and high places. These bucks like to get in there. They can see around them. They can hear. If you'll get in there and take your time and zigzag and be organized about it, and keep everybody together and they all working together, you can get these big deer up. But you know, you got to step on them. You got to take your time when you're making these drives.
These weed fields offer great habitat for these western whitetails. There's an abundance of cover and excellent food sources like wheat and corn close by. If you're looking for the whitetail hunt of a lifetime, call Perry Ross and give this Kansas country a try.
There's a deer right there. It's a little buck. He has gas in it through there too. There's another deer. No. There's another buck. That's a pretty good deer. It's a heavier deer.
He's going down.
Fast action when you're driving deer. Here you go, right here.
And these big bucks have been laid up. They've been rutting so hard and wasn't moving.
They're done with all that rutting, aren't they? And you're right that there are some monster bucks around this area. And you've got an outfitting service here, and you took 23 hunters this season. You've got bow hunters and a few gun hunters, and you've had some pretty good success there.
Oh yeah, we've had like 23 hunters, and we took like 18 deer. We killed a 170 and a good many deer in the 140s to 160s, and our average deer probably was going to be in the 140s. But I've got some humongous deer.
And you've had some bow hunters that saw a lot of good 2-year-old bucks and passed up some good deer also.
Well, everybody had opportunities, you know, and we're managing this thing for trophy bucks, mature deer. We're not taking any of these young deer. We're letting them walk, and that's the only way you're going to have big deer is let these young deer walk.
That's right. You know what? I want to come back when you learn this place a little bit better so you can find me something a little bit bigger than this. How about that?
I just hope we have another year like we had this year. If we do,
I do too.
it'd be a great hunt.
It's a great time.
You know a deer hunter can't practice too much. Morrell has come out with a target that I guarantee you will help him. The 4x4 broadhead and field point cube target. It's got field point sides, broadhead sides. You can take this target anywhere you go. You can set it in the woods, practice in real hunting situations. Another tip, if you wear glasses when you hunt, shoot with that on to kind of close. And speaking of practice, we're fixing to join young Tanner Morrell for a late season muzzleloader hunt.
Young Tanner Morrell, teenage son of Dale Morrell, the archery target manufacturer, is visiting the bluegrass state for a late season muzzleloader hunt. After a quick check of the night disc rifle, there's no doubt all Tanner needs is a whitetail buck. Dale opts to take his Matthews bow and just go hunting while Tanner gets the pressure of hunting on camera. It's an extremely cold December day. Our hunter's location will overlook a cornfield planted for wildlife. The mass crop has long been gone, so the deer are hitting a food source like this extremely hard. The main ingredients to late season hunting are good food sources that give animals energy during the cold weather. Then they love a really thick area nearby to bed in, like this cedar thicket that borders a CRP grass field. Tanner is doing what every hunter needs to do. He is making sure he has himself in perfect shooting position. Taking aim on these does gives every hunter confidence in his aim. Right behind these does comes a nice buck. He's moving up the field toward Tanner's location. Several limbs give our hunter no choice but to let this buck come down the field right in front of his stand. With the buck alert, Tanner waits, and when he moves, Tanner quickly repositions his rifle.
There's some blood right here. There's some trail should be straight up through here. There he is.
Tanner, you're having a 9-point year. You killed one in Arkansas with your bow. How old are you?
I'm 13.
How long you been deer hunting?
Let's see, about 4 years.
Obviously, your dad got you started, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all get to hunt together a lot. He's a pretty good old dad, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got to be, because you beat him every time with a deer. Now, he killed one with his bow, what, yesterday morning or day before yesterday? And now you've gone and killed a bigger one. What do you think that's going to do to him?
I don't know. It might hurt him just a little bit, but that's okay.
Well, how you like muzzleloader hunting? That's your first muzzleloader deer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And that gun shoots very accurate, and I like it a lot.
We got it sighted in. That's the night disc rifle. We went down to the range, which is a good idea. I was going to let you practice, but you shot one time at 100 yards and hit an inch from the low inch bullseye, and I figured we were dead on. Do you like that old man stand turned around up there, that rest?
Oh, I love that old man stand. It's very comfortable, and I had a rest, and it was easy. Anybody could have made that shot with that gun.
I noticed you were comfortable the other day. You know, I filmed you snoring up in the tree a little bit. You're taking a little cat nap in between hunts. I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed hunting with you. That is a good buck. Better go drag him out of here, hadn't we?
I guess we better.
Well, boys, after seeing all that, I'm going to have to put in for at least 3 tags. But Perry Ross, mark me down on your calendar right now, buddy, because I am coming back to Kansas.
Colorado buck, put me down because I'm coming back to Texas.
And I hope I get drawn for Illinois and Iowa.
Best of luck to you, boys, because I'm headed to eastern Colorado.
Eastern Colorado.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
We appreciate each and every one of you watching this video.
And we'll see you in the woods.
I thought we were supposed to go totally undetected. We hope we don't see you in the woods.
Okay, it was my fault. Folks, we'll see you.
Here are some of the fine outfitters the Knight and Hale team recommend for quality whitetail hunting.